To kick off your learning about 21st century communication methods from a learning management system like Moodle, I want to talk about the messaging feature in Moodle. If you are the teacher of a Moodle course or Moodle course page, you will have a navigation block. And if you're in your navigation block, you have a participants section under the course name. And I'm going to click on participants. This is where you see your roster of enrolled members, and you might have set up groups, and so in this case I have 3 different groups, but this is right now I'm looking at all participants. Note that next to every participant there's a checkbox. That is because if I wanted to use Moodle messaging, I could send them an email message. So for example, if I wanted to send something out to Sarah, I could put a check mark in front of her name, and I could go down to choose and say send a message. That's going to send an email to the address that is in their profile. Now, just so you know, all Hopkins students have a hard-coded email address, and that's their Hopkins Apps email address. So for example, the elementary students don't actually check their Hopkins mail. We don't have that activated for them, and so you just need to know that if you're an elementary teacher. And then junior high teachers, I think all students are interacting with that mail account. And then at this point, senior high teachers, my guess is that some of them use it and some of them don't. So you need to know that before you decide if you're going to use Moodle messaging. So the other thing you should know is that you can send a message to more than one person at a time. So if I had a bunch of people in this course and I wanted to give them all the same email or message, I could select multiple boxes, or I could do a select all, and I could send a message to that group as well. And then lastly, if you did have a particular group that you wanted to select, and then, so let's say you had a block 1 or a block 2, you could select that group if you've already set up groups, and then you could go down to the select all option and you could send a group message that way. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's the difference between a message and a note? Well, a message is communication that goes out to that student via email, where our notes are like notes that you're making to yourself. So let me just deselect all here. And if I wanted to make a note, like let's say Sarah Spiker was going to be gone for a week and I wanted to make a note of that, I could say choose, add a new note, and I could put that information in there. Will be gone week of May 4th. And there are 3 options here. If you choose personal, that is something that you can revisit yourself as the teacher. Nobody else sees it but you. It's just a note you've made to yourself about that student. If you choose course, then if you have more than one teacher of that Moodle page, then that note will be available to you and that other person in that role. And then cite, if I type that in about Sarah, it is possible that if Sarah's enrolled in other Moodle courses throughout our system, that those individuals might run across this note as well. I don't think you'll use notes much, but I just wanted to make sure it was clear to you the difference between the messages that you can send via email and the Moodle notes.